So this video I'm going to talk about when enlightenment meets a wounded empath. We're also going to discuss something called spiritual blindness, and we're also going to discuss healing. Now, there is many empaths who don't recognize, who don't realize that they are unhealed, okay? I was one of them back in the days. Back in the days, in the early days of my journey. I was one of them, very unhealed, okay? So a person who is unhealed, they exhibit a lot of toxic behavior, okay? An unhealed empath can be a person who also may be involved with negative toxic behavior. Sometimes it can be sometimes addictions. So there hasn't been any work done on that person, on that individual. Not because probably in that moment they're not ready. Because you see, when we talk about healing, it is something which happens to a person that is ready. Okay, so you need to be ready. And there is so many people that are not ready to heal. Okay, toxic people probably will never heal. Maybe some of them have started some work, a little bit of it. But even as well, there is also people who are actually empaths, but they're unhealed empaths, and they're wounded empaths. So when people meet these kind of channels, enlightenment channels, there is going to be some form of reaction, because enlightenment sometimes, not everybody is ready for specific information. Some people can think they're ready, but at the end of the day, we realize, and I've already seen it again and again, that not everybody is ready for enlightenment. So sometimes enlightenment can meet somebody in their deepest, what is the word called? It can meet someone when they're still going through their deepest fears or trauma or wounds, and emotionally and spiritually they're not there yet. So in this process, what really happens is that the empath will experience something what they call spiritual blindness. So spiritual blindness is where somebody's eyes, so this is like a blinder, you have the blinder, so somebody's eyes will not be able to see the truth. I have dealt with a wounded family member that I tried to enlighten back in the days. I think at that time we're talking about narcissistic abuse, and this person was involved with the narcissist in that time. It did not matter what I had to say, okay? They did not have any business with hearing what I had to say, because the information I was giving was shaking them out of their comfort zone. So there is many empaths who may sometimes run into these channels. You know, there are some of them, they're ready. You know, the ones who are ready, sometimes when they come in, you know, they get information, they use this to their advantage, to better their lives, even sometimes to heal, to move better. But as well, there are some of them who are still very deeply wounded. Okay, so empaths is very important for you. As much as you're an empath, you have good intentions, you have beautiful intentions, you have empathy. It's very important for you to consider healing, okay? Do everything you can. Your life is going to get more organized when you start realizing that you need to do some healing on yourself. We have all done the healing work, okay? Many of us have done. Some of us are still doing, some of us have not even. Some people have not even started. Try to see where you are and what it is you need to do to start this journey of healing. The rewards are unbelievable. Sometimes also empaths experience, for example, when it comes to enlightenment, and sometimes empaths meet these kind of channels. They might have that situation where they can actually be deaf. This is like spiritual deafness. What is the word I can use? Spiritual blindness involves having your eyes blinded to the truth, because enlightenment is the truth, okay? I've always told you guys, this is the channel of truth. When you're getting enlightenment, you're coming into that realization of what the truth really is, okay? So it may not sometimes be the same truth that you've always known your entire life. You come into the realization of what the truth really is. And sometimes, like I've said, there is people who have these blinders on, and they are not ready to see the truth for what it is, or even to hear the truth for what it is. So that is what we call spiritual blindness. And normally when a person is spiritually blind, not only for the toxic people, but as well for the unhealed people, unhealed empaths or wounded empaths, like I've said, those people can exhibit very toxic behavior, okay? And normally, when these kind of individuals meet enlightenment, they get triggered. They get triggered because they have not had some information, or they have not seen some things, and now they are coming to the realization that there is a lot of stuff they have not seen and a lot of stuff they have not had. And this is going to trigger their egos, okay? So it triggers their egos. And the reactions can be different, okay? Everybody can react in their own ways. Sometimes people, you may see them struggling with information. They are struggling to digest information. Is not for them. They are struggling to understand something. Is not ready. They are not ready. Is not even for them. So these kind of channels which give or offer enlightenment, they are channels which trigger a lot of unhealed people. Because unhealed people, like I've said, they have got blinders on. And some of them are actually still deaf to the truth. So actually, whatever you say is not coming in, okay? Whatever you say is not coming in because they're like deaf, spiritually deaf. And even if it tries to get in, it is going to trigger their ego, okay? So it's going to fracture their ego. And that is what usually brings about the triggers. So basically, spiritual blindness, it is something, I do not say I have any judgment. I'm not a judgmental person. I'm just trying to give you guys information that sometimes there is information that exceeds someone's understanding. So these channels can be met by souls that are ready to move forward, okay? So they're ready to learn something and ready to move forward. Maybe sometimes they're ready to heal. But a soul who encounters this kind of information, it can be by some miraculous way that the universe is trying to get their attention onto something. But of course, it doesn't always mean that everybody is open to receiving knowledge and wisdom. Not everybody is ready for that, okay? A person who has got spiritual blinders on, they are also still comfortable in their own little zone, comfortable zone, and they do not want anything to shake them out of that comfort zone, because enlightenment is something which shakes you out of your comfort zone. And you're coming into new realization and awareness, and sometimes it is actually altering your whole DNA, okay? So this is why I've said sometimes, if a person is not ready for enlightenment, it is important for you to take your time. There is no rush. When the time is right and you're ready to learn something or ready to know something new, you can always come and learn some stuff, okay? Because I know I've been on this journey for a couple of years now, and I have experienced a lot of unhealed empaths and wounded empaths on top of toxic people that have continuously gotten triggered, because for the very first time they're being confronted with the truth, okay? So something what they call the truth is very hard for very many people to digest the truth, okay? It pierces very deep within their souls because it is shattering the illusions that they've always had about whichever situation or circumstance that they've been involved with over the years. So what I'm trying to say in this video is that for me, as a healed person, as a healed empath, I simply and I easily recognize an individual who is ready for stuff. And I also recognize people that are triggered. And I also recognize people that are wounded. I recognize toxic people. I recognize toxic behavior very easily. I don't even have to think twice before I do that, okay? So for you to be able to understand what we talk about on these channels, this kind of channels like this, spiritual channels and stuff like that, you may be a person who is very deeply from a very religious background, and there is stuff you're hearing. If for the very first time you're hearing stuff you've never heard before, you're going to get triggered, okay? As much as you may want to resonate with some stuff that we say here or I say here on this channel, there is also things that are going to trigger you because you cannot simply understand what we're talking about here. So in my experience, I could say, depending on where you are on your journey, we are all at different frequencies. Pick up things that are going to help you. There may be stuff, because I've already told you, this is an enlightenment channel, it's a spiritual channel. So there might be things that you've not had in your church. There could be things you've not had in with your parents at home. There could be things you've not learned in schools. There might be information you never had anywhere else. So pick up the tools you need to help you, whether it is moving forward, whether it is finding purpose, whether it is healing, in whichever way, even if it's about narcissistic abuse, because we always talk about narcissistic abuse on this channel. So you can always pick out some stuff that is very important for you. It can help you. You don't have to believe everything you hear. You can always do your research. I always tell people, if you have your doubts, go do your own research. There's so much information out there. Go do your own research. When you come to the realization of the truth of what it is we're talking about here, then you can now pick up the things that are going to help you in your journey, okay? But still, it's important to understand that we have got a variety of different people vibrating at different frequencies that are following this channel. So the ones that are ready, they digest this information, they learn from it, it helps them move forward. The ones who are not ready, they usually get triggered. So a lot of people have got spiritual blinders on, okay? And for a person who has got spiritual blinders on, I would recommend highly that you stay away from enlightenment, okay? If you're a person who is very deeply into your own little ways, maybe religious, very strong religious background and stuff like that, you're going to get confused with spirituality, okay? When you start mixing these two things, they're going to blow your mind, and you're not ready for that. But still, I have people who follow these channels, and actually they're religious people. And normally what I've noticed as well, they pick up powerful stuff that is going to help them as well, and they can always leave the rest, because there's some other information that I could give that can only resonate with people who are into spirituality. Not everybody is into, and you don't have to be, we have got free will. A person can decide to be a religious person, or a person can decide to be a spiritual person. We have free will. So you do not have to push yourself into spirituality when it's not what resonates with you. I never push myself into religion because I no longer resonate with religion. But at the same time, I can teach you things that you'll never learn from your churches, and you may not have ever read anywhere else in your entire life. Be patient with yourself. If you're an unhealed empath, take your time. Prepare yourself mentally, because we're talking about enlightenment. Enlightenment is not for everyone, okay? There are some things, some knowledge and wisdom and information that is not for every mind. It is for a selected few people that are ready to move forward and do some particular things in their lives to better their lives in so many different kinds of ways. So let's know what you think about the video. Drop us a comment, like the page, share and subscribe. Book a session, donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need will be in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. There's Almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.